There is a kind of strength that rarely announces itself. It does not raise its voice. It does not demand attention. It does not rush to prove itself. Yet when it enters a room, something changes. Those around it become unsettled, not because they see aggression, but because they cannot understand the absence of it. Most people believe power is loud. They believe confidence must be displayed, dominance must be demonstrated, and authority must constantly defend itself. But the warriors of ancient Japan observed a different truth. The most dangerous man was often the quietest. Not because he lacked emotion, but because emotion no longer ruled him. Miyamoto Musashi wrote of maintaining an undisturbed mind in the presence of uncertainty. He understood that conflict is often decided long before the sword is drawn. The man whose mind remains calm while everyone else is consumed by reaction possesses an advantage that cannot easily be measured. His strength is invisible until the moment it becomes undeniable. This is the story of a man named Haruto, and it is the story of how he discovered that the calm which unsettles others is not a gift of personality. It is the result of mastering the impulse to react. Chapter 1. The Need to be Understood. Haruto believed that peace came from controlling the opinions of other people. Whenever someone misunderstood him, he felt compelled to explain himself. Whenever criticism appeared, he searched for the perfect response. Whenever conflict arose, he spent hours replaying conversations, imagining better answers, and defending himself against words that had already been spoken. To those around him, he appeared thoughtful. In reality, his mind was rarely at rest. Even after difficult conversations ended, they continued inside him. He carried arguments long after everyone else had forgotten them. A single careless remark could occupy his thoughts for days, draining energy that should have been directed toward his own life. He believed this constant mental activity proved that he cared deeply. But over time, he began noticing something painful. The people who disturbed him most often remained completely unaffected by him. He was carrying battles they had already left behind. One evening, after another exhausting day filled with unnecessary mental arguments, Haruto realized something uncomfortable. His suffering was not being created by other people alone. It was being sustained by his inability to let their actions remain outside his mind. The battle was no longer external. It had become internal. Chapter 2. The Samurai's Silence. The samurai viewed conflict differently. Silence was never a sign of weakness. It was often evidence of control. Ancient warriors understood that every unnecessary reaction surrendered something valuable. Attention was consumed. Judgment became clouded. Emotion replaced observation. A warrior who reacted impulsively allowed his opponent to influence not only the battlefield, but also his own mind. Musashi repeatedly emphasized the importance of seeing clearly. A mind filled with emotional turbulence cannot perceive reality accurately. It sees insult where none exists. It imagines danger where there is only uncertainty. It mistakes impulse for wisdom. Bushido demanded something more difficult: remain undisturbed. Not because the world deserves your silence, because your mind deserves your discipline. This principle puzzled Haruto at first. He had always believed calmness meant suppressing emotion. The samurai taught something entirely different. Calmness was not the absence of feeling. It was the refusal to surrender direction to feeling. For the first time, he considered that true authority might not come from winning arguments. Perhaps it came from no longer needing them. Chapter 3. The Invisible Victory. A few weeks later, Haruto found himself in a situation that would normally have consumed him. During an important meeting, someone questioned his judgment in front of everyone present. Immediately, he felt the familiar surge. His heartbeat quickened. His thoughts began assembling a defense. His pride demanded an immediate response. For years, this impulse had always won. This time, something interrupted it. He remembered the lesson of the samurai. Observe first, react later. Instead of speaking immediately, he remained still. He listened carefully. He noticed that much of what had been said was not a personal attack at all. Some of it was criticism. Some of it was misunderstanding. Some of it contained useful truth. Had he reacted instantly, he would never have recognized the difference. His calm unsettled the room. People expected resistance. Instead, they encountered presence. When he finally spoke, his words were few, deliberate, and free from defensiveness. The conversation ended without conflict. But something more important had happened. For the first time, Haruto realized that remaining calm had not made him weaker. Chapter 4. The Fear Beneath Reaction. As Haruto continued observing himself, he discovered that every unnecessary reaction concealed the same invisible fear. It was not truly fear of criticism. It was not fear of failure. It was not even fear of being misunderstood. Beneath each emotional impulse was a deeper concern. He feared losing control over how others perceived him. The moment that control seemed threatened, his mind rushed to restore it, through explanation, defense, or argument. The samurai understood that this desire for control was itself a source of weakness. A warrior cannot command another person's thoughts. He cannot prevent misunderstanding. He cannot guarantee respect. These things exist beyond his authority. To spend one's life chasing them is to become a servant to circumstances that can never be fully mastered. Musashi repeatedly returned to what remained within one's own control: the direction of attention, the quality of observation, the precision of action. Everything else belonged to uncertainty. Haruto slowly realized how much of his energy had been invested in protecting an image rather than strengthening his character. He wanted people to see him as competent. He wanted them to recognize his discipline. He wanted every conversation to end in his favor. Without realizing it, he had become dependent upon approval, and dependence always creates vulnerability. The calm he admired in the ancient warriors suddenly made sense. They were not calm because nothing disturbed them. They were calm because they had stopped trying to control what never belonged to them. The only territory they defended completely was the territory of their own mind. Chapter 5. The Practice of Non-Reaction. Haruto decided to train this principle deliberately. He did not begin with extraordinary challenges. He began with ordinary moments that previously escaped his attention. When someone interrupted him, he remained composed. When plans unexpectedly changed, he observed the first impulse to complain without following it. When criticism appeared, he delayed his response long enough to separate fact from emotion. At first, this practice felt unnatural. His mind protested constantly. It insisted that silence meant surrender. It warned that calmness would make him appear weak. It urged him to explain, defend, justify, and correct every misunderstanding immediately. But Haruto noticed something remarkable. These impulses lost much of their strength when they were simply observed. Like waves striking unmoving stone, they rose, reached their highest point, and quietly disappeared. The samurai practiced this kind of stillness relentlessly. Hours of meditation, disciplined routines, endless repetition of simple movements. These practices were not designed merely to improve concentration. They trained the practitioner to witness emotion without becoming its servant. Gradually, Haruto stopped reacting to every disturbance that entered his life. And because he reacted less, he saw more. He noticed intentions hidden beneath words. He recognized opportunities concealed within difficulty. He detected emotions in others that previously disappeared beneath his own emotional noise. His silence was no longer empty. It had become awareness. Chapter 6. Why calmness creates unease. Something unexpected began happening as Haruto changed. People responded to him differently. Some respected him more. Some trusted him more deeply. Others became strangely uncomfortable in his presence. At first, he could not understand why. He had become quieter, less argumentative, less defensive. Yet certain individuals seemed unsettled whenever they spoke with him. The samurai understood this phenomenon well. A calm mind cannot easily be manipulated. Those who depend upon provoking emotional reactions suddenly lose their influence. Anger finds no opponent. Mockery finds no insecurity. Pressure finds no panic. Many people unconsciously expect predictable reactions. When those reactions disappear, certainty disappears with them. Haruto realized that his calmness was acting like a mirror. Those who approached him with honesty found stability. Those who approached him seeking conflict often encountered only themselves. This was never an act of intimidation. It was the natural consequence of inner steadiness. The warrior who remains undisturbed forces others to confront their own state of mind. And for many people, that is far more uncomfortable than argument itself. Chapter 7. The identity that cannot be shaken. Months passed, and the greatest transformation in Haruto was no longer visible in his behavior alone. It had reached something deeper. His identity had begun to change. Before, he believed calmness was something he needed to create each time difficulty appeared. Every challenge demanded another struggle against emotion. Every disagreement became another test of will. Every unexpected event forced him to fight himself before he could face reality. Now the struggle had become quieter. He no longer asked himself whether he should remain composed. The decision had already been made. He would observe before reacting. He would understand before judging. He would remain steady before speaking. The samurai understood that discipline eventually becomes identity. A warrior does not repeatedly choose courage every morning. He lives according to a nature that has been shaped through countless repetitions. The same principle applies to calmness. When stillness depends upon favorable circumstances, it disappears with the first disturbance. When stillness becomes identity, circumstances lose much of their authority. Haruto no longer measured his progress by how peaceful life became. He measured it by how little his inner state depended upon what happened around him. This changed everything. Praise no longer inflated him. Criticism no longer diminished him. Success no longer intoxicated him. Failure no longer defined him. Events continued to come and go like changing weather, but the place from which he lived had become more stable than the weather itself. For the first time in his life, he understood what the ancient warriors meant by inner ground. It was not confidence. It was not optimism. It was not certainty. It was a mind that no longer abandoned itself. Chapter 8. The presence that alters the room. As Haruto's discipline matured, people noticed something they struggled to explain. He rarely spoke first. He rarely interrupted. He rarely hurried to fill silence. Yet when he entered a conversation, others naturally paid attention. His words carried unusual weight, not because they were louder, but because they were never wasted. The samurai valued economy in every aspect of life. Economy of movement, economy of speech, economy of thought. Nothing unnecessary was cultivated. Nothing unnecessary was expressed. Haruto realized that calmness conserves energy. Every avoided argument preserved attention. Every unnecessary explanation left strength available for meaningful action. Every impulse that passed without obedience strengthened the mind's independence. He had spent years believing influence came from constant expression. Now he discovered that influence often grows from disciplined restraint. The loudest person in the room usually competes for attention. The calmest person rarely needs to. Because calmness possesses a quiet authority that noise cannot imitate. It neither demands respect nor pursues recognition. It simply exists, and that existence changes the atmosphere around it. The samurai knew this long before the modern world became addicted to constant reaction. Presence is stronger than performance. Stillness is stronger than display. A mind that remains undisturbed quietly reshapes every room it enters. Conclusion: the calm that terrifies others. The calm that unsettles others is not created by confidence. It is created by freedom. Freedom from the need to defend every opinion. Freedom from the need to answer every insult. Freedom from the need to control every outcome. The samurai understood that true strength is almost invisible. It does not seek admiration. It does not announce itself. It does not struggle to prove its existence. A weak mind reacts because it fears losing control. A disciplined mind remains because it has already mastered the only thing that truly belongs to it. The world will continue offering uncertainty. People will continue offering criticism. Life will continue presenting discomfort, misunderstanding, and conflict. None of these things can be prevented, but they do not have to become your master. Every moment of stillness is a refusal to surrender your mind. Every measured response is an act of quiet discipline. Every unnecessary reaction left behind becomes another step toward freedom. The ancient warriors never searched for a peaceful world. They became peaceful within a world that could never remain still. And that is why their calm was so unsettling. It could not be bought. It could not be manipulated. It could not be shaken, because it was never built upon the behavior of others. It was built upon complete authority over themselves. And once that authority is cultivated long enough, something remarkable begins to happen. Your silence becomes stronger than another person's anger. Your patience becomes stronger than another person's urgency. Your presence becomes stronger than another person's performance. You no longer need to appear powerful. You simply become the kind of person whose calm cannot be taken away. And in that quiet, unwavering stillness, the warrior discovers the greatest victory of all. Not victory over an opponent, but victory over the impulse to become one.